Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and I hope that you are having a lovely day. If you are new here, I'd like to welcome you to the Miscovich channel. If you are a returning subscriber, what it do, baby? In today's video, if you haven't seen by the title already, I am going to be talking about lock extensions. I'm sure you all have noticed by now, especially if you're following me on Instagram, that I didn't actually grow my locks from scratch. I know, right? Shocking. I've had these set of locks for a year and 9 months now. If I'm being honest, I have a love-hate relationship with them, and no, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy having locks at times. I just don't love this particular set of locks that I have at times. And yeah, in this video I'm going to be covering some of the things that you need to know before you get your lock extensions, so that your journey is just filled with love and nothing more but love. So there are two types of lock extensions, and if I'm leaving anything out, please don't hesitate to add some more information in the comment section, please, for those that need direction. But as far as I know, there are two types of lock extensions. You have your synthetic lock extensions and you have your human hair extensions. I wouldn't recommend anybody go for synthetic extensions, and by this I don't mean faux locks. Faux locks are not locks, they just don't count, so let's not even go there. I'm not even going to touch on that topic. But you have your synthetic lock extensions, and these are usually made with like your normal hair fibers. I've seen somewhere in Joburg CBD people using like yarn, you know, that mohair yarn. I'll maybe stick an image here so you see. They are the cheaper option when it comes to locks, but it's important for you to know that if you have plans or any desires of changing your hair color, that you cannot, because synthetic hair doesn't take color. So whatever color you buy them in, you're probably stuck with until you take those extensions out. And I just feel like they don't blend with human hair really. It just looks very off-putting. And then you have the human hair extensions. Now I've been reading and I've been seeing a lot of videos, especially of people in the United States, where human extensions are made from, I mean, I don't know what to call it. The normal human hair you use to make weaves. I'm not entirely sure if that's offered here in South Africa. I didn't come across any when I was doing my research. So what I mean by human extensions is somebody grows their locks and then they decide that they don't want locks anymore. They cut their locks off, they sell them at a market, a hairstylist buys them, cleans them up, and then you go buy those locks and they're attached to your hair, which is what I have. And I know there's probably a lot of superstitions around it, but honestly I'm still sane as far as I know. Nothing has happened to me, so I think you're good to go. What I like about human hair extensions is that they are human hair. They will behave like your hair. They'll take color, they'll take bleach, they look realistic. I think that's one of the things that I admire about these type of locks, is just looking at me, you wouldn't say that this is not my hair. It's blended so perfectly with my actual hair, you actually wouldn't be able to say where the extensions begin. I don't think I can even tell you where the extensions begin. Let's try. Yeah, with this lock, for example, I think my hair starts from about here, well, all the way to the root, but you can't actually say where the lock begins and where my actual hair begins, which is phenomenal. I started my locks with loose natural hair, and I honestly thought that the loctician was going to cut my hair, which is also weird. Like, how did I actually think that he was going to attach the locks anyway? But yeah, I started my locks with loose natural hair. The loctician just twisted my hair, very loose twists, and used needle and thread to attach the locks to my hair. And despite what you might think, it was actually really taut. Like, it didn't matter how hard you pulled my hair, those extensions were not gonna go anywhere. And then 2 months down the line, I went to do crochet on my hair, and yeah, I was actually very impressed with what the outcome was, because as much as my hair had already sort of blended with the locks, because it just looked like I hadn't retwisted my hair in a while, I think that having my hair freshly done actually sunk the fact that I had locks in, because now my hair was pretty much a lock from the root all the way down, you know. The initial attachment took me probably less than 2 hours, and I'm guessing it's because of the method that was used to attach the extensions to my hair. Of course, you can do crochet, but I honestly wouldn't recommend somebody getting locks for the first time to go for crochet. My usual appointment now takes about 3 to 4 hours, so I can imagine the first attachment takes longer, and it also hurts. It hurts so bad, and you don't want that to be your first experience, otherwise you're just going to dread having locks from the get-go. I don't like telling this story because it makes me look like a bad person, but my set of locks cost me around like $600-800, and that wasn't the actual price. So what had happened was, the loctician and I had agreed on the length of extensions that I wanted and the look that I wanted, but when I got to the salon, I don't know if he mixed up appointments or he just genuinely forgot, but he grabbed a longer set, and I didn't know anything about locks, so I just thought that the length that he was giving me was the length that I asked. Like, I didn't know what to expect and what the outcome was going to be. So when it came time to pay, I was like, here's the money, and he was like, wait, what? And I was like, what do you mean? So because it was his era, I kind of got my locks for cheaper than what they actually were, but please don't put somebody in that position, because that's not good. But yeah, so the whole appointment was, I think, around 1.2, so it was the set of locks plus installation. Oh yeah, what I shouldn't forget to mention is that whether you have loose natural hair, relaxed hair, I want to say short hair, but I know that that's not accurate. I'm not entirely sure how short or how long your hair should be to allow for extensions to be implanted, or to be implanted on your hair. But whether your hair is relaxed or whether it is loose natural, he just told me that, look, I can do this. Before you get your locks, I advise that you consult. Don't just rock up at a salon and ask to get lock extensions. Make sure that you have as much information as possible. Make sure that you have the conversation with the loctician prior to see if you guys have an understanding, or for you to discern whether this person is the right person to do your hair, because this is a lifelong commitment. If I were to cut my locks right now or to just remove them, I'd either have to consider cutting my hair really short or combing my locks out. So yeah, it's very important that you have the conversation with your loctician or whoever's going to be doing your hair beforehand. An example of the kind of conversation that I had with the person that did my hair: one, I first already understood the texture of my hair as well as the density of my hair, and I'd previously done like faux locks and box braids, so I'd already had an understanding of not necessarily the number but the density of locks that would work for me as well as the thickness. So I went through the internet and collected a couple of pictures of the look, and also understand that what you're seeing in a picture is not necessarily what you're going to get, because the picture is not necessarily a true reflection of the model's hair density. The outcome might not necessarily be the same, but I already knew that because I had very thick, like extremely thick and coarse hair. I was either going to be stuck with super thick locks, which I didn't want, or hundreds and hundreds of locks, which I also didn't want. I needed to trust my loctician to give me a good balance where I had thin locks that didn't look odd. You know, there's some people who have like very thin locks but their hair is very thick to the root. You know, you kind of need to find somebody who will know and find balance. And also, if you have very thin hair and you opt to go for either thick locks or a high quantity of locks to cover the fact that your hair is thin, you are going to risk your hair thinning out even more, because you will have a lot of weight that your roots are not ready to support, you know, and that's how you start thinning your hair out. So yeah, it's important to understand your hair density as well as hair texture. Here's my theory, ne? If I want to do my hair with someone and they can't even give me time of day, either an appointment for consultation or just conversations via text to help me understand how to navigate through this whole thing, then that's not the person that I'm gonna go do my hair with, because it means should things go south, I'm going to be by myself. And if you're exploring a different hairstyle, if you don't know how to take care of your hair, you're probably going to be out on your own. But it's also important for you to know that people might want you to pay for their time. So some people will be willing to have the conversations with you over the phone or via a consultation for free, and others would want for you to pay for their time, because of course the time that they're spending having a conversation with you is probably the same amount of time they'll spend doing somebody else's hair. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. So this is why I say that you need to do your research or maybe watch this video so that you don't get conned. It so happened that the set of locks that I got had a lot of build-up that I discovered that I couldn't get out, which is one of the reasons why I actually dyed my hair blonde, because the build-up kind of blended better than it did when I was dyeing my hair black. When I dyed my hair black, the build-up would be concealed for maybe 2 weeks, and then after that I'll be back to square one. And constantly dyeing my hair is not a thing that I was planning to do. So I opted to dye my hair blonde-ish, like a whole ombre thing, because again I also didn't want to dye my roots, because fresh hair, good hair, clean hair, yeah. So I confronted him about it, and I went to him a couple of times to replace the ones that were just at their worst, and that's how I ended up with a longer set than I began with. It's very important for you to understand what buildup is so that you can be able to identify it even when the set of locks you get has just been freshly dyed, because I think that's what they also do as well. They just dye the hair to conceal the buildup, and it's not something that you'll readily see if you don't have experience with locks. But as you start to wash your locks and the dye starts to fade out, you are just going to be left with so much built up you won't even know what to do with. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the things that I'm missing out. I honestly don't have any cons with having lock extensions. For me, it's just like any other hairstyle. Yeah, it is actually honestly like any other hairstyle, any other hair type. You are obviously not going to get into it knowing how to take care of your hair properly, or knowing how to take care, I literally just said that, or knowing how to style your hair, knowing the right products to use. You know, even with my loose natural hair, I was probably 5 years into it and I was still discovering products that I needed to be using. I was still discovering how to style my hair properly. I was still learning how to take care of my hair properly. So don't use, if you really want to get locks, don't use not knowing how to take care of them as an excuse, because those are the things that can be learned, in all honesty. What else? So yeah, man, don't feel scared to get lock extensions if you have the money for it. If you don't listen to superstitions about wearing somebody else's hair, then I don't see why you shouldn't get lock extensions. My battery is about to die, so I'm gonna wrap this video right here. Please leave any questions that you may have for me in the comment section below. I'm open to answering all of your questions, and I'm sure that there'll be tons and tons of people who will respond to any questions that you might have that I may not be able to answer. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, especially if you've made it to this point of this video. I know the lighting is hectic. I'm trying out new things because I want to start filming at night instead of waiting for the weekend to film, and then something comes up in the weekend. So yeah, I'll be testing out a few spots in my apartment to see where the lighting and the footage looks better. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can make this family bigger. Until next time, I love you guys so much, and bye.